Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. We'll be talking about Revelio. Let's start from the problem. So the problem is like opinion polling. So opinion polling today is like extremely broken because the process is really old, still mostly based on phone calls, and it's really not auditable in any way. Unfortunately, this has a big impact on daily decisions of companies, and in general also for countries, think of elections. But it is more generally something that affects decisions all over the place. So we try to understand how we could fix this issue with the new technologies we have, and we came up with the idea of Revelio. So Revelio is trying to replace these phone calls with a new process, which is basically redesigned from the ground up, and which provides a full audit trail of the entire process. So what is it in practice? So for our clients that are basically companies, research groups, newspapers who need to do those surveys, those opinion polls, it's a platform. It's a platform where they can ask questions to a specific target audience they have in mind. This may be, for instance, citizens of a given country that are above 18, or if it is a company, maybe doing a research for a new fashion product, they may want to target just women between 20 and 30 from some countries. So it really has a wide applicability. On the other hand, we have the users of the platform, which are basically the actual voters, so people who share their preferences. These users, they use an app. So the one I will be showing you shortly is a web app. This is what we built during the hackathon. But in reality, what we are building is a mobile app to improve the user experience even more. So why would users share their preference there? Well, first, it's a completely anonymized casting, the one they do. So they're not sharing votes as usual. When you receive a phone call for an opinion poll, they are calling your number. So you know you're not really anonymous. And this is why often in the US, for instance, looking back at the US elections, opinion polling were extremely skewed because people who were voting for Trump didn't want to admit it. Indeed, there were some private polls done by speculators on Polymarket, for instance, who were asking to people to share what they thought their neighbor would vote. And it turned out that actually the results were much more accurate this way, essentially because their identity was unlinked with their voting preference. So how do we do it with the app? Basically, there is a private digital identity concept. So the user can link a variety of means, such as a ZK passport or a Word ID identity, or maybe a ZK TLS, verifying their email address, many different criteria, to prove that they meet certain eligibility properties you want for your votes. Then they find some open surveys that their persona is compatible with. They cast their vote, all from this app, and they can receive rewards. So there is an incentive on top that makes this viable. So I'm showing you a video now of the demo of the hackathon. So here specifically, you will see it as a website where there is a verification happening with ZK Passport. The user will just cast a vote. They don't see any blockchain complexity, but still you have all the guarantees you want from ZK and blockchain. So you can actually see it live on revelio.substancelabs.xyz if you want. There are 3 surveys here. One is for the US election, where the criteria is the US nationality and being above 18. There is another one for Canadian elections, and a third one, which is very convenient for testing, for voting the next headmaster for Hogwarts. So in that case, as long as you're younger than 150 years old, you can participate. So you can connect any passport, basically. So let's cast our voting preference here. We have the QR code for the verification of the eligibility criteria, so of the age. This goes to the ZK Passport app. Now, I had connected my passport earlier, so I'm generating a ZK proof that basically verifies my age. and this is being sent on-chain. So from a user perspective, this is extremely simple, and once we release the mobile app, the full experience will be in a single mobile app, so it will be even better. What you can see is that shortly after, a report can be generated that basically aggregates the data from everyone in an anonymized way. So you can just see the voting preference without knowing who has casted the vote, but having the guarantees that they fit eligibility criteria. For the clients, this is extremely useful because they have a full audit trail proving that data is accurate and really coming from there. Trying to change slide. So to summarize, Revelio has a full audit trail, as I was just saying, for the results. So you have the guarantee that the data you, as a client, that the data you get is of high quality. You can enforce passport, the participation criteria are met, for example, via ZK Passport. You can have selective disclosure of results, which is actually how our business model works. So the voting preferences are not sent in clear text on-chain. They are encrypted with a key we own. And after some time, for example, a week later, the key gets published, and you can verify that we have not omitted any vote, and that the voting preference has integrity. But via this key, we can prove to our clients results in real time. And this is why we can sell them early and why this data is valuable. Last, you can incentivize participation. So with the money we make with the service, we can incentivize users who come and vote. So we can share rewards, and this motivates them to come, which is very different experience from the annoying phone calls that today we receive for surveying. So the go-to-market is essentially based on this. So when users come to vote, they have this incentive. We have the real-time results that we can sell. And with the revenues, we can basically keep incentivize users who come on the platform. With some time delay, the data gets visible on-chain for free with guarantees of integrity. The target market for opinion polling is really big. However, we think there is like an even bigger opportunity here that we want to target. Indeed, this private digital identity concept and this selectively functionality to select some attributes you have is really important. You can, for instance, do sentiment analysis within a company. With ZK TLS Notary, you can verify, for instance, that you are working at Facebook. And then you can, for instance, answer to surveys done within the company. Maybe the management wants to know what you think about a potential direction. Or you can have competitors of platforms like Blind, where you have gated communities of people working in a certain field or in a certain company, and much more. So what we are doing now and what we want to do next is basically focusing on productionizing the mobile app. We want to do to fundraise and to establish some partnerships that are already in progress with, like, for example, local administrations in Switzerland, with universities, and much more. And we'll focus on growth, integration, and expanding the identification of the user beyond the passport. Thank you. If you're interested, feel free to reach out on Telegram.
How do you manage the, do you have receipt freeness in your voting app? The receipt freeness, so in a nutshell, it's when you vote, but you don't have a way to prove that you voted, how you voted. So it's not possible to bribe people. It's not possible to bribe people because, like, I need to explain what receipt freeness is.
So,
in digital voting, you can a malicious party can bribe people to vote how they want, and because you have the zero knowledge proofs can attest how the people actually voted. You don't have that in paper voting because you put the ballot in the box, you shuffle it, and there is no way to verify how a certain person voted. Do you have that in your app?
Yeah, in the first version we have, which is currently just based on ZK Passport, we have a unique identifier, so we can prove the user has just voted once and prevent them to basically vote again. And this is used kind of for Sybil resistance. At the same time, you don't know who exactly has voted. You just know it's a different user. So you will not be able to bribe or to do anything like this because there is no way for you to verify that the user has or has not voted unless, for example, you steal their passport.
Yeah, you should look at receipt freeness because I believe this is the major, this is the last roadblock why we don't have digital voting yet.
Yeah, thank you. We'll look into it. However, there is a very specific reason why we have decided to use this for opinion polling and for surveying, and not for regulated voting for things like actual elections. You know.
Thank you. That sounds like a very reasonable use case for ZK. My question is, given the fact that your potential clients most probably come not from Web3, how hard is it to persuade them that what you're offering is not just to trust you, but is a cryptographic proof?
Yeah, so there are different ways. So first of all, since we are crypto natives, we think there is an opportunity here to start addressing both markets in parallel. We have already started doing it. So outside of the crypto market, we are starting from those countries and those administrations, for instance, like cities, who already are crypto friendly. And we think this will be very useful to validate it and to show to others that this actually works and is reliable. Second, we are working with some universities so that we can have their stamp of approval and their validation from the academia. So this is how we want to face it. While in crypto, it's easier because you can just say, verify the proof. You don't need additional trust lines in authorities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Thomas.